مرحبا جميعا. بهذا الفيديو حابب اشارك معكم واحد من اهم اهدافي لعام 2023، وهو انه حصل درجة عالية بامتحان ايلتس اللي هو اختبار تحديد مستواك باللغة الانجليزية عالميا. ايلتس هو اختبار تحديد مستوى عالمي فينك من خلاله لما تحصل درجة عالية تدخل على احد الجامعات العالمية يلي بتطلب مستوى لغة انجليزية عالية. الاختبار بيمر بأربع مراحل اللي هن استماع وقراءة وكتابة ومحادثة. هدول الاختبارات كل واحدة منهم إلها علامة من 1 ل9. تتقسم هاي العلامات وبالنهاية بتاخد علامة من 1 ل9. في جامعات بتطلب 6، في جامعات بتطلب 6.5، 7. أفضل شيء إنك تجيب 7 وفوق. طبعا في جامعات كتير عالمية ممكن تطلب 6 أو 6.5، بيكون ممتاز جدا. لهيك قررت إنه أعمل معكم سلسلة على هي القناة، أعمل من خلالها اختبارات آيلتس. كل يوم ممكن أنشر فيديو أعمل من خلاله اختبار قراءة، لأن القراءة هي أكثر وأقوى شيء. من خلالها ممكن أتعلم كلمات، ممكن أتعلم المحادثة أنا وعم أقرأ، وممكن حل أسئلة كتير صعبة. والاستماع رح ننتقل له بعدين، ما له مهم حاليا. شو هدفي من نشر هاي الفيديوهات؟ هدفي بشكل أساسي أول شيء الاستمرارية بالنسبة إلي، لأنه لما رح أنشر قدامكم فيديوهات رح يحفزني على هذا الشيء إنه أنشر بشكل مستمر وكمل بدراسة هذا الموضوع، لأنه هذا الموضوع ممل نوعا ما. فإذا ما نشرت فيديوهات رح مل ورح بطل أدرس، وهذا هدف لازم حققه بعام 2023، ولازم تصير لغتي الإنجليزية ممتازة لأقدر أقدم هذا الامتحان. فبتمنى منكم اي حدا بيشوف هذا الفيديو بهمه امتحان ايلتس يكتب لي بالتعليقات ويحفزني، وخلينا ندرس مع بعض، ويكتب لي قديش هو عم يجيب بالامتحان. وهلا قدامكم رح اقدم امتحان قراءة ممكن يكون صعب شوي، ورح خبركم كيف فيكم انتم تقدموا كمان امتحانات، ونشوف كل هاي التفاصيل. تعالوا هلا ننتقل على الكمبيوتر. اول شيء يا جماعة الخير، لو بدكم تقدموا امتحانات ايلتس مثل قراءة واستماع فيكم تروحوا على هذا الموقع. من هون عنوانه مكتوب هون ميني IELTS.com. بكل بساطة أنا رح أختار الريدنج. من خلال اختياري للريدنج رح لاقي مواضيع متنوعة جدا. بختار الموضوع اللي حابب أقرأ عنه. هي مواضيع متنوعة، مواضيع ممكن تكون صعبة ممكن تكون سهلة. طبعا أنا حاليا كوني مالي قارئ كتير بالآيلتس، فرح أختار مواضيع هي عليها مشاهدات كتير، معناتها هي المواضيع حلوة، مواضيع جذابة. فخلينا نبلش خطوة خطوة. رح اختار هذا الموضوع What is the secret of a long life؟ شو هو السر لحياة طويلة؟ طبعا انا ما رح ضل ترجم قدامكم، رح حاول اقرأ وجاوب وبعدين منشوف النتيجة. جبت ورقة وقلم وحاليا خلينا نكمل. بسم الله. What is the secret of a long life? This year the number of retired pensioners. حابب احكي لكم اول شيء انه في كلمات ممكن تمر علي جديدة، فرح اضطر انه اروح على جوجل ترانزليت لحتى ترجمها واعرف كيف تلفظ. بسم الله. pensioners اللي هن المتقاعدين. This year the number of retired pensioners in the UK exceeded the number of under 18 years old for the first time in history. That's remarkable in its own right. But the real population explosion has been among the oldest of the old, the centenarians. The centenarians هن المعمرين has increased by 60% since the early 20th century, and their ranks are set swell even further thanks to the aging baby.
Aging.
What's the meaning of aging?
Aging baby boomer.
Asian baby boomer generation. دي طفل مواليد الشيخوخة. Okay. By 2030 there will be about 1 million worldwide. Okay. These trends raise social, ethical and economic dilemmas. What's the meaning of dilemmas?
Dilemmas.
Dilemmas. Ethical and economic dilemmas. Okay.
Ethical and economic dilemmas.
Ethical and economic dilemmas. Are medical advances artificially prolonging life with high regard for the quality of that life? If growing numbers of elderly people become dependent on state or familial support, society faces skyrocketing costs and communications. Yet, researchers who study the oldest old have made a surprising discovery that presents a less pessimistic view. Okay, pessimistic. What's the meaning of pessimistic? Pessimistic.
Pessimistic.
pessimistic متشائم. pessimistic متشائم. pessimistic view of the future than many anticipate. What's the meaning of anticipate?
Anticipate.
anticipate يتوقع. anticipate. It's becoming clear that people who break through the 90 plus barrier represent a physical elite. It's becoming clear that people who break through that 90 plus barrier represent a physical elite. Okay. Far from gaining a longer burden. What do you mean of burden? Burden of disability. It's becoming clear that people who break through the 90 plus barrier represent a physical elite. Far from gaining a longer burden of disability, their extra years tend to be healthy ones, and supercentenarians. Oh my god, Supercentenarians, people aged 109 or over, are even better examples of gaining wealth. Gaining, what's the meaning of gaining? Okay. The average centenarian had really gone about their daily life up until the age of 105 or so. Some 5 to 10 years longer even than centenarians. One of the most comprehensive studies come from Denmark in 1998. Christian at the University of Southern Denmark quantified every single one of 360 people born in 1905 who was still alive, assessing oh my god, assessing their health over the subsequent decade. I think this time I will go to Google and search for this word. Maybe that's even better. Flowing in time, order, or place. subsequent events following in time. Okay. He found that the proportion of people who managed to remain independent throughout was consistently around 1/3 of the total. Each individual risked becoming more infirm, but the unhealthiest, but the unhealthiest ones passed away at earlier ages, leaving the strongest behind. In 250, only 166 of the people in Christian's symbol were still alive. But 1/3 of those were still entirely self-sufficient. Christian sense optimistic findings are echoed. What do you mean of are echoed? To repeat details are similar to and make you think of something else. The design of the count echoed that of I've read the okay. I think optimistic findings. Optimistic. What do you mean of okay. Step check. Optimistic findings are echoed. How they pronounce echoed? Echoed in studies all over the world. In the MC Carl Plain at the University of Cambridge studied 958 people aged over 90 are found that only 1/4 of them were living in accommodation specifically catering for the need of older people. Research in China reveals that centenarians are nonagenarians spend fewer days ill and in bed than younger elderly groups. Of course, people can live independently without being entirely healthy, and it's true that most centenarians suffer from some kind of ailment. This range from osteoarthritis to simple loneliness. Not all the oldest old survive by delaying illness or disability. So many soldier through it. Jesse even of Ohio State University examined the medical histories of over 400 centenarians. She found that those who achieve extreme longevity tend to fall into three categories. About 40% were delayers who avoided chronic disease until after the age of 80. Another 40% were survivors who suffered from chronic diseases before the age of 80 but lived longer to tell the tale. The tale. What the meaning of the tale? What's the meaning of the tell? The tell. Okay, tell that means a story. The final 20% were escapers, okay, who reached their century with no sign of the most common chronic diseases.
Intriguingly.
intriguingly, intriguingly, 1/3 of male centurions were in this category, centurions, but the reason of for in this category compared with only 50% of women. In fact, the two sexes fare very differently when it comes to longevity. There are far more female centurions, but the reasons for this are unclear. Certainly, women tend to lead healthier lifestyles and experience fewer serious accidents. They also go to their doctor more. Men are more prone to risky behavior and chronic illness, so it must be genetics, which allows some men to reach extreme old age. Evidence of this comes from longevity hotspots. Longevity. What's the meaning of longevity?
Longevity hotspots.
Longevity.
Longevity.
Longevity. I hope you longevity. Longevity. Okay. The Japanese island of Okinawa is the front runner. At 58 centurions per 100,000 people. It has the world's highest proportion in this age group, with Sardinia and Ireland not too far behind. All three are relatively isolated island communities, which leads to less genetic variation amongst inhabitants in these places. The result has been a predisposition towards a longer life. Of course, members of such communities usually share a particular environment too, but this alone cannot explain longevity. Gerontologists okay have okay, what's the meaning of this word?
Emphasized
the importance of regular exercise. شو كان how say pronounce this word? Okay. Exercise. So anyone aiming to reach a century should not underestimate this. They have also found that the influence on lifespan of social factors such as wealth fades as we age. By comparing 10,000 pairs of Scandinavian twins, Christensen found that genes are key, but that they only start exerting a strong influence on our lifespan after the age of 60. Before then, those who are both identical and non-identical, non-identical have largely independent chances of reaching a given age. Longevity gains have also been found in abundance in other organisms. Come back. Longevity genes have also been found in abundance in other organisms, including over 70 in particular worms. Unfortunately, it's a different story in humans. While many genes have been successed to affect lifespan, very few have been constantly verified in multiple populations. Note, centenarians, someone who is 100 years or older. Baby bomber, someone born just after the Second World War, a time which saw a rapid increase in birth rate. Nonagenarian, someone who is between 90 and 99 years old. Gerontologist, a medical professional who specializes in a gang and the problems of aged persons. Okay. Questions 1 to 7. Do the following statements agree with the information given in the reading passage? In boxes 1 to 7 on your answer sheet, write true if the statement agree with the information, false if the statement contradicted the information. Not given if there is no information on this. Okay. The greatest growth in the centenarian population across the world is in the UK. Let's read again. This is the number of the first time in history. That's remarkable. It's an alright, but the real population explosion has been among the oldest of the oldest series. In fact, the imbalance is the fastest growing demography in much of the development world. In the UK, the number of centenarians increased by and their ranks are set to thanks to the annual number by be a million worldwide. Not given. Fewer families today are looking after their elderly members. These trends raise social, ethical, and economic developments and medical regulation. Why, with high regard for the quality of the life, if growing number of elderly people become dependent on the statement of or familial support, society and commitments. Yet researchers who study the oldest old have made a surprising discovery that presents a less pessimistic view of the future that many anticipate. What the meaning of anticipate? We said
Anticipate.
Okay. Well, I'm becoming around the United States. If a growing number of elderly people I think not given. It's becoming clear that people who break through the 90 plus barrier represent a physical ability far from gaining a longer burden of disability. People who lived beyond 90 are likely to be in good health. Okay, very disability. Their extra years tend to be healthy ones, and super centenarians, people aged 190 or over are even better examples of gaining well. The average supercentenarians had freely gone about their daily life up until the age of some 5 of 10. I think it's false because it's becoming clear that we more better. Okay, what do you think of this? Oh, I think it's true. True. Yeah. Centenarians tend to be in a better physical health than supercentenarians. Okay. No. False. Supercentenarians are better physical health. I think better example are even better example of it. Yeah, because it's interesting thing. None of the oldest survivors in Christian's study could take care of themselves. One of the most comprehensive studies come from Denmark. In chronicracy at the University of Denmark, every single one of 3,600 people born in 1905 who was still alive, assessing, I think assessing تقييم قادم. Okay. Their healthy over the spectacle decades, he found that the proportion of people who managed to remain independent throughout was constantly around 1/3 of the total. Each individual risked becoming more infirm, but in the unhealthiest ones passed away at earlier age, leaving the stronger behind. In only 100 people in Christian symbol were still alive, but 1/3 of those were still entirely self-sufficient. Self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient. Self-sufficient. Self-sufficient. Self-sufficient. Self-sufficient. Self-sufficient. Sorry. Christians, no. None of them. Okay, that's false. Research finding from Cambridge and China conflicted with Christians finding in Denmark. Conflicted.
Conflicted.
Christian optical findings are equated in study all over the world. In the MC, O'Brien at the University of Cambridge study and found that only 1/4 of them were living in a specifically category for the needs of older people. Research in China reveals the century and non-generals spent fewer days ill and in bed than younger elderly group. Of course, people can live independently without being entirely healthy, and it's true that most centenarians suffer from some kind of ailments. This range from Osner. What's the name of this?
Osteoarthritis.
Osteoarthritis. I think it's the most hardest word in the English language. To symbol loneliness. I think it's false. I hope I'm not false. I think it's true. Centenarians may suffer from stronger feelings of isolation that people a generation younger may suffer from stronger feelings than people a generation younger. Not all of the oldest survive by delaying aliens or disability, so many soldiers throughout through it, just even of Ohio University extended the medical histories of over 400 centurions. She found that those who achieved extreme longevity tend to fall into their categories. About 40% were delays who avoided chronic diseases until after the age of 80. Another 40% were survivors who suffered from chronic diseases before the age of 80 but lived longer to tell the toll. The final 20% were skippers who reached their century with no sign of the most common chronic diseases. Intriguingly,
Intriguingly.
intriguingly, 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 intriguingly,
Intriguingly.
intriguingly, 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 intriguingly,
Intriguingly.
intriguingly, intriguingly. Okay.
Intriguingly. Intriguingly.
Intriguingly, 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 intriguingly. No problem. 1/3 of male centurions were in the category combined with only 15% of women. In fact, the two sexes were very different when it comes to longevity. There are far more female centurions, but the reasons for this are unclear. Certainly, women tend to lead healthier lifestyle and experience fewer serious accidents. They also go to their doctor more. Men are more prone to risky behavior and chronic illness, so it must be genetics which allows some men to reach extreme old age. Evidence of this comes from longevity hotspots. The Japanese island of Okinawa. Okay, I think it's not given. Question. Answer. What name has Jessica Everett given to the category of centurions who become 100 without suffering serious diseases? Okay. Reach 100 without suffering. Hundred without suffering. Who is the given has Jessica Everett? Content saying I found that the people must remain each individual Christian optimistic value in the MC Carl Brain are found. Only 1/4 of all the research in China reveals that centurions and generals spend fewer days and of course people can live. I think this is so hard, man. It's becoming clear that people who break physical ability further gaining longer burden of disability their crest rate tend to be health ones and super centurions people aged. Even better example of again, the average super centurion had really gone about their daily life. Maybe super centurions. I think I will go with super centurion. What factor is most likely to contribute to longevity in man? most likely to contribute I think
contribute,
contribute. Chronic illness, so it must be genetics. Which place has the largest proportion of centenarians in the world? UK. UK, I think. According to journalistic, what should people avoid if they wish to reach all? Okay.
neglecting,
وين تعرفنا على هاي الكلمة؟ neglecting. The Japanese island of Okinawa is the front runner at 50 in the century. The journalistic have embraced the importance of regular exercise. Okay, regular exercise. Okay. What social influence or longevity decreases as people get older? So anyone aiming to reach a century should not underestimate this. They have also found that the influence on lifespan of social factors such as wealth fades. Okay. In which species apart from humans have longest genes been identified? Okay, this here longest genes have also found in abundance in their them including over 70 worms. بسم الله. خلصنا الامتحان واخيرا وخلينا نشوف نتيجتنا حاليا. Submit and few answers. 5.5. Why? Oh, okay. Wells. Guys, no. I have to be very careful. طلعوا يا شباب. عندي الصح والخطأ كلهم صح كانوا، بس وحدة غلط. وعندي هدول الإجابات أنا أصلا مجاوب، يعني بس هي كانت غلط، هي صح. هي غلط كمان، أنا ما جاوبتها صح. شو كانت؟ exercise أنا كتبتها regular exercise. because I have to write one word، لازم أكتب كلمة واحدة بس. اوكي، هلا انا حاليا مستوى متوسط 5.5، مستوى متوسط، وضليت فيه 35 دقيقة. طبعا بدنا نمسح 5 دقايق لانه طلعنا جبنا كارجو، بس تقريبا 30 دقيقة. 8 كوريكت، او خلينا نعتبرهم 9، بس انا كتبت كلمتين. هي الشغلة لازم انتبه عليها، لازم اكتب كلمة واحدة. اوكي جايز، كتير انا استمتعت بهذا الامتحان، وكتير مخي وجعني. اكيد ما حدا وصل لنهاية المقطع، ولكن اذا حدا وصل اتمنى تكتبوا لي بالتعليقات، وتابع معكم بهي السلسلة. بشوفكم المقاطع الجاي. سلام.